Another major text, which I personally find to be really striking because of the way that it resembles that Athanasian motto, God became man, that man might become God, is 2 Corinthians 8:9, that he who was rich became poor for our sakes, so that we by his poverty might become rich. Here we have this idea of God's descent for the sake of our ascent. And if one looks at the language of riches throughout the New Testament, it's intimately bound together with this idea of glory. Paul refers frequently to the riches of God's glory. And the notion of divine glory, when you follow it through not just the New Testament, but the whole Bible, is all about God's dwelling in creation. God builds the temple so that his glory, this cloud of presence, might actually fill up the sanctuary. Another major text, which I think is central to the patristic exposition of divinization and to the biblical elucidation of divinization, is in Exodus 34. This is when Moses goes up the holy mountain and he beholds God. God makes known to Moses his name, and God descends in a cloud. And then when Moses descends the mountain, his face is radiant with divine light. And it's very interesting what happens. What happened is that Israel, when they see Moses, whose face has become radiant with this light, Israel draws back, and it says that they are afraid, which is a blow for blow recapitulation of what happens when God descended on Mount Sinai in Exodus chapter 19. In Exodus 19, God descended on Sinai in this cloud of glory. Israel draws back. They're afraid. They send Moses up to mediate on their behalf. And here in Exodus 34, Moses is the one who descends. His face is radiant with divine life. Israel is afraid. They draw back. And then Moses has to put a veil over his face, because the idea is that his face has become like the Holy of Holies. God is dwelling in the Holy of Holies. It has to be veiled. Moses is the one in whom God is dwelling. His face has to be veiled too. And so you see, not just in, isolated proof texts or little phrases here and there, which could be given a variety of interpretations, but in the whole way that Scripture articulates the reality of God's dwelling with man. Theosis is woven through the very fabric of the Bible.